Hey, thanks for joining me today. Y'all, welcome everyone. We are streaming live on Rumble, rumble.com/coffee-nuance/live. We're there every day, Monday to Friday, at this time. And we're also on the YouTube and some other places. But do me a favor, if you happen to be on X, I just shared the link to this video. If you could help me out, I would appreciate it. As a reminder, cool kids, hit the like button in the stream always. So thank you for that. But we got a lot to get to today. Interesting world we're living in. So let's get to it. Yeah. Okay. Oregon. Not sure what happened to my color balance. What's going on? That looks funny. Anyway, Oregon, drug decriminalization, public camping. It's like mixing whiskey and wine. Now, individually, both are delightful, but together you've got a headache waiting to happen. Drug decriminalization, tough word to say. All right, progressive move, something to try. Public camping, sure, call it the wild. Mash them together, it's like trying to turn a cat into a dog. It's not going to happen, no matter how the cat identifies. Now, think about a welfare state and open borders. It's like trying to run a charity with a no entry sign. Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? It's an all-you-can-eat buffet with a sign that says no eating. These are like mismatched blind dates. One wants hugs, the other wants space. Now, these experts who dreamt up this cocktail. Let me refresh this. Come on. I've ordered a new mouse. Okay. Well, I hope we're live. Hope we are. Anyway, the experts who dreamt up this cocktail, they might have sounded confident as a politician in a soundproof room. But now we're in the room. And it's anything but soundproof. It's like trying to put together puzzle pieces from different sets. It's never going to work. Drug policy experts, public space planners, yeah, they're trying to mix a rom-com and a disaster film. Two genres that do not sync up at all. Oregon, let's wake up. Smell the incompatibility. Sometimes it's like trying to squeeze an elephant into a phone booth. It ain't gonna fit. Drug decriminalization wants one thing. Public camping wants another. Let's stop forcing this odd couple to go on a road trip together. Let's call a spade. Oregon, trusting the same experts who brewed this concoction. It's like expecting a rocket launch from a tricycle. It's not gonna take off. Let's hit the reset button on this hodgepodge experiment. Let's find solutions that actually complement each other. Anyone can tell you you can't throw a rave next door to study hall. My name's Tom Coffee. This is a Coffee Nuance Show, best censored commentary news show live. Right now, flame on. Yeah, I'm actually waiting for my waiting for my new equipment that will not hopefully fail like this equipment is failing me today. But we can probably count on Amazon coming right in the middle of the show. That's how it works. Anyway, let you know that Oregon's bold move to make heroin, cocaine, and other drugs quasi-legal just has not worked. Measure 110, that was the approach to decriminalizing drug possession, focusing on treatment, faces severe challenges among staggering rise in public drug use, opioid-related deaths fueled by fentanyl, increasing the crisis seen across the U.S. Initially hailed as a revolutionary, the law's impact has been clouded by a surge in fatalities, with Oregon experiencing the highest increase in synthetic opioid deaths among states reporting data. Despite investing cannabis tax revenue into addiction services, only 1% sought help in the first year, casting doubts on the law's effectiveness in encouraging treatment. Lawmakers, including Democrats who initially supported the measure, they're open to reevaluating amidst growing criticism. They face pressure from Republican counterparts advocating for stricter penalties, though history has shown the past punitive measures haven't deterred drug use either. The dilemma also sparks debates about whether to criminalize public drug use or tackle underlying issues like homelessness. While the law did contribute to significant funds, they spent lots of funds on this. Oregon's situation remains dire compared to the rest of the country, leaving a pressing need to address the escalating crisis without a clear, straightforward solution. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Obvious things that don't go together. And I need your help for this, because I would love to create a standalone video. Things that don't go well together, right? Obviously, whiskey and wine, not a good mix. Drug decriminalization and public camping do not mix. Now, anyone could have predicted this, but I kept hearing the whole time, oh, no, we've got a plan. Oh, we're going to get more shelters. Oh, we're going to do treatment. We're going to spend money on treatment. Well, it turns out 1% sought treatment. In the meantime, what do you think happens when all the media across the country does stories on how in Portland, Oregon, you can do drugs? You can shoot up, you can do whatever you want to, and you can set up a tent. For a long time, the tents were given out for free by these organizations to encourage people to move here. Well, I mean, if you're getting hassled in another state for doing drugs and you're an addict, and you hear, wow, I can just go to Oregon and I can shoot up in a beautiful park, or I can put a camp right down by the waterfront, have $1 million view. Well, who wouldn't do it? Who wouldn't? What drug addict wouldn't want to come here? These people don't understand incentives at all. There's no understanding of incentives. Anyone could have told you that this wasn't going to work. And we were lied to, because I think they knew. You have to know that that's not going to work. You have to know that that is the conclusion. Now, supposedly, the mayor has reversed and is going to enforce a camping ban here in Portland. It's been that way for a couple months. And each time we get within a couple days, the activists, this well-organized, well-funded homeless industry, the homeless industrial complex, opens another lawsuit, and then they get a friendly local judge to pause it. So you can still camp anywhere here. Technically not legal, but the judges all seem to be, not all, hashtag not all, but the judges seem to be complicit in this whole scam. I think it's a scam. I just don't understand why people can't see that things don't go together, right? I want some good examples of things that don't go together. I, for one, would like it, since we live in the wealthiest country in the history of mankind, I think we should probably give some kind of base I think anybody that's an American should have some kind of base medical treatment. I'm not saying it has to be free, okay? But we should have some kind of universal health care. Not saying free, but accessible to people that don't have it. Well, if you've got an open border, right, with millions of people crossing every year, you're never going to get universal health care. If you're in favor of universal health care, and maybe you're not, I understand that point of view too. But if you are in favor, but it seems to be the same people that want universal health care are also the people that don't have a problem with everybody coming in from all over the third world. Well, chances are you don't have a high school degree. Many don't have. Many are not. Many of the people crossing the border, right? They're doing it for a better life. They're not coming here to be doctors or lawyers. No, they're probably people that are going to be reliant on the public health. They're going to be using government services. Well, you can't have better government services if you open the border for millions of people every year. Those things just don't go together. If you want universal health care, you must be in favor of closing the border. That's it. But I'm sure that there are many other things that are totally incompatible, and I need your help, my audience, of coming up with a list of these things. So if you have any ideas on two things that are totally not compatible, but yet people keep thinking that it'll work, let me know in the comments. Speaking of the comments, I'll be going through all your comments in the after show. That's after I get through the stories of the day on both Rumble and YouTube. So thanks for leaving your comments. I appreciate all of your feedback. That was kind of the thing I wanted to get to today, is just the idea that two things can't go together. You know, for example, there's something else, right? You can't have, let's say, Soros-backed DAs that don't want to prosecute anyone. They don't want, you know, if you say that you don't want to prosecute anyone for shoplifting under $1,000, then you got all these, and you make it illegal to stop the people from leaving your store. You don't let security do anything about it. You can't detain anyone for that. Well, guess what? You're going to see a lot more shoplifting. Those things are incompatible. And I think that there are a number of things that are totally incompatible. And so if you got any other ideas, let me know in the comments. But we got a number of stories to get to today. We got some big news about the Federal Election Commission, and they've decided on a schedule. Okay. So the Commission on Federal Debates unveiled the 2024 schedule, marking the earliest start for presidential debates. 3 presidential debates and 1 vice presidential debate are slated for September and October, concluding 27 days before Election Day. Scheduled at Texas State University, Virginia State University, and the University of Utah, with Lafayette College hosting the VP debate. These aim to include historically black colleges because, of course, the schedule adjustment is intended to encourage participation from the Republican nominee, addressing past criticism from the RNC. The RNC withdrew last time from the second debate because it was canceled because President Donald Trump didn't want to Zoom in, right? So they said, oh, for COVID and Joe's sake, right? We can't have them actually meet up on the same stage. We should do this virtually. Well, hopefully that won't happen this time. But here's the news. These are the requirements to be a part of it. You need to be on enough state ballots to secure a majority of electoral votes. So you don't have to be on all 50 states. This is talking about independent candidates, third-party candidates. You don't need to be on every state. You don't need to be on all 50. You need to be on enough that if you won all of those, you would have a majority of the electoral votes. You also need to register at least 15% in polls from select organizations chosen by the commission. They have not released what those are yet. The debates are set to start at 9 p.m. Eastern and run 90 minutes with no commercial breaks. Further details will come about the format, the moderators, and the participant criteria at a later time. But this is exciting stuff. I can already see the issue with the select polls, and they've pulled this before. The DNC was really good at this, where they would say, "Oh, you need, this was in the primary polls. There's no primary polls this time because Biden won't debate anyone." But they would pull this stuff where it had to be an approved poll and it had to be of certain states and a bunch of shenanigans where it was like, oh, you need 7% to get in this debate and this many donors and this many this. And it was like, this person made it in? Okay, yeah, but that poll doesn't count, that poll doesn't count, that poll doesn't count. But this one particular poll that seems to be an outlier, that's the one that counts. So it is a way to set it up to exclude, say, RFK Jr. So you can't let it even be close. Like I was saying the other day, you can't let the referees decide. You can't let it come down to the final play. You've got to have a big enough margin that they can't deny you. But now we know 15%, and right now Kennedy is polling at over 20%. So this will be the first time, I think, since Perot that we had a third-party candidate. I see a moth driving me crazy. Got it. Kind of gross, but got it. Okay. But what do you think about that? I think it's good that they came out. I would like to know what the polls are, because we can look at the polls. We can look at how those particular polls did last time, and you will know which polls are historically more accurate than other polls. It is interesting to know who owns the polls, who's paying for those polls. That's all something that we should look into. And perhaps I need to go through and evaluate, give my ranking of all the polling companies based on what I can find out about their previous bias. Because again, one of the best predictors for the future is the past. It's not a perfect predictor, but that's one of the best predictors. So if there is a polling company that was widely wrong in the past, and before then they were widely wrong, and before then they were widely wrong, we can predict what the future will be, perhaps. So that's something that we can look into. But next up, we got more of this coordinated attack on X and Elon Musk, and the White House has jumped into it. Yeah, so the White House recently joined Threads, social media platform, competing with Meta's X. Meta's X? What am I saying? Meta's Threads, competing with X. Can't even read. This move occurred amidst backlash toward Elon Musk for all this nonsense the media's been saying about anti-Semitism on the platform. White House launched official accounts for the president, vice president, and others. The decision was underway for weeks, and it happens to coincide with Musk and X facing criticism this week. I'm sure it's a coincidence. So anyway, as you know, there were some allegations about some comments from Elon Musk on Twitter that, in my opinion, were a very unfair take on what he said. Not a charitable interpretation whatsoever. And we have a lot of advertisers leaving X, I don't know, as soon as they met with Xi Jinping earlier this week. Probably another coincidence. I don't know. You know, a lot of people might put these things together and say there's some kind of conspiracy. Not me. These are all massive coincidences and yeah. But the White House is joining Threads. It's supposed to bolster the platform's credibility, especially among some public figures that have shifted from X to Threads because Elon Musk is so scary. I know I'm reading minds there, but nobody's on Threads. Nobody cares. They can keep pushing this. It's not going to work. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't even post on Threads. He doesn't even use his own thing. I don't know. Some might say this is some kind of operation that's coordinated between the Democrats and media companies, but I don't know. I think it's a coincidence. I'm very pro-coincidence. I don't believe in conspiracies at all. Conspiracies are nonsense. This is just a big coincidence. So tell me, are you going to be on Threads? I don't have a Threads account. I checked it out. It looked like nobody was there. But who knows? Maybe that's going to be the hot place. I guess I need to give it a chance, right? Is anyone on Threads? Let me know in the comments if you think it's even worth checking out. I'd be interested to know. But next up, we got to talk about what's happening later this week. And I had the wrong graphic up for the last story. Oh well. Oh well. What are you going to do? Many Americans are aiming to steer clear of political discussions this Thanksgiving, with a Quinnipiac University poll revealing that 61% hope to avoid these conversations, yet about 29% are eager to engage in political talk. A previous survey found that 19% reported political arguments during the holiday, primarily among Democrats. Despite the potential difficulty, a Psychology Today article advised against banning political discussions, suggesting that engaging with respect and tact can foster enjoyable conversations on various topics like candidates, jobs, healthcare, and more. So this kind of coincides with what I was talking about in my video from last week about on how to engage with people, how to fact check your friends, right? This was Friday's video. You know, and my suggestion was, are you sure about that? Nice and innocent. Offer to bet them a taco dinner. You can find out together. So in that video, I had a lot of suggestions for how to fact check your family. My suggestion is none of this is really worth it. I'm going to try to keep my mouth shut. We'll see how I do. But that's my suggestion for you. Just be the cool person that is above it all, and let everybody else share their fake news and dumb takes. And that's not being arrogant. I'm not saying that my views are always better than other people's views, even though they probably are. I'm just saying, just be above it. Family should be something that's important to you, and you want to keep those relationships strong. There's really nothing political that's important enough to be fighting, in my opinion. So, whatever, do what you will. But next up, I got a warning for you. Warning, fear, fear, fear. Researchers are investigating a potentially deadly respiratory illness affecting dogs across several states, causing coughing, sneezing, and lethargy. The disease doesn't test positive for common respiratory infections. It is hard to treat conventionally, though fatalities are rare. Some dogs develop severe pneumonia. The exact cause is unidentified, but scientists suspect a viral origin that doesn't show up in standard tests. They're analyzing samples and found common DNA to understand its evolution. Dog owners are advised to monitor symptoms, limit contact with unfamiliar or sick dogs, keep vaccinations up to date, and avoid communal water bowls. So I've seen this for a while now. Here in Oregon, we've had some kind of outbreak where they're warning people not to use the dog parks for this illness that's going around. It is something viral. I wonder, I'm not making any suggestions, but I wonder if there's any medicine that is an antiviral that's very, very cheap that might help out in these things. You know, maybe won a Nobel Prize or something like that. It might, you know, have a nice, cheap antiviral that might be really useful for your dog. I don't know. Maybe. Perhaps. But I don't know. Talk to your vet, I guess, about that. Yeah, if you solve this really easily, then people might make some assumptions about other respiratory illnesses that are viral. And if you, I don't know, maybe the dogs need to be wearing little masks, right? Can you imagine that? Masking up your dog to go for a walk outside. Good luck. Good luck with that. Yeah. Well, there was a cheap antiviral. Anyway, let's get to some another subject that is a big concern to me. The SEC sued Kraken, alleging it operated as a securities exchange without registering. This aligns with the SEC's push to regulate crypto under federal security laws. Kraken plans to defend itself, arguing that Congress should handle crypto regulation. The lawsuit won't impact the 10+ million clients. The SEC accused Kraken of disregarding securities laws, commingling funds, and lacking proper controls. Kraken countered, stating that it spent fees it earned and downplayed the commingling claim. The lawsuit seeks penalties, a stop to unregistered exchange operations. Kraken, founded in 2011, faces legal action among the SEC's broader scrutiny of crypto exchanges. So Kraken is a crypto exchange. As a reminder, if you have money in crypto, do not leave it on the exchange. You want to make sure that you are in possession of the keys for your crypto. So get it off the exchange, have it in your own wallet that only you have access to. That's the major concern of anybody that is trading crypto, is just leaving it on the exchange where it could be hacked or stolen, or let's say the company just closed its doors, right? So you should only have money on an exchange when you are actively trading, and when you're done trading, get it off of the exchange and put it back in your wallet. You know, those are just kind of the best practices for it. It is interesting to see all the talk about regulation of crypto and how it is kind of a really hazy field right now. With some people, you know, they haven't seen a regulation they don't like. Let's regulate it more, regulate it more. But yeah, that's just my encouragement. That is, if you have anything on exchanges, get it off the exchange, put it in your own wallet. You should know what that means if you're doing anything with crypto. But I think that Kraken does have a good service, and I have used Kraken myself. So if it comes down to what team are you on, well, you can guess. You can guess. You can guess. Anyway, I guess I got to have some good news today. It's so damn hard to find some good news. But maybe I got something. Yeah. So Lionel Messi faces Brazil in a crucial World Cup qualifier at Maracana Stadium. This match marks the end of an eventful year for Messi, who transitioned from Paris Saint-Germain to Inter Miami. Despite his prolific scoring, he's yet to score against Brazil in a World Cup qualifier. Argentina leads the CONMEBOL standings. That's the Confederation of whatever. But both teams seek a win after recent losses. Messi's performance in this match is highly anticipated due to his recent goal drought. So you can watch this game for free today on Telemundo. I'm sure you have Telemundo. You can get Telemundo on your with your antenna in most places in the U.S. What time is it? So it's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern and 4:30 p.m. West Coast. I think that's good news. I think it's going to be a great match. Both teams are really looking to win. This is like a rivalry game. Argentina is favored by quite a bit, but that doesn't mean that much in soccer, as some of the Brazilians are out. Some of their stars are out for this game. So anyway, I guess that's some good news. It's really hard to find good news. That's another challenge. Look for the good news. Good luck. Good luck finding good news. Either that means that people aren't interested in good news, right? Or that there's not that much good news to report. Or both. They both can be true. But I don't think for the most part when you're looking for news, people are looking for good news. If that were the case, we'd probably have more of it. Because, a lot of the news is fake anyway, so why wouldn't they make some fake good news? Just a thought. Just a thought. Anyway, Anybody in my audience even watch soccer? Let me know in the comments. Hope you all have an awesome day. Stick around for the after show. I'm going to be going through all of your comments, chatting about some other stuff, have some announcements. Yeah, I hope you have an awesome day. I will be back tonight, 9 p.m. on the West Coast, midnight on the East for Midnight Americano. Come hang out if you got nothing else going on. But until then, peace. Cool. Thanks for hanging out. Let's check out the chat. Hashtag RumbleGang. What's up, everybody? Look at the moon says, damn it, Rumble cut off the beginning for me. That may have been me. I may have started and stopped it and then started it again. Still trying to, is it possible to get through a whole show without a glitch? We'll see. New equipment. Yeah, no, I ordered new mice because one of the issues is sometimes a lot of these computers, I now have 2 mice hooked up. In case one doesn't work, then I can, if this one stops, then I can move over to the other one to see if it works. It's ridiculous. Oh, man. Health freedom and fear-based vaccine mandates don't go together. Yeah. That doesn't go together much at all, does it? Healthy military and vaccine mandates don't go together. Yeah. In fact, who knows, I know that there are now lawsuits from military members that were booted because they didn't want to do the vaccine, and now the military wants them back. So we've got lots of lawsuits happening. Who knows, maybe our taxpayer or our country can pay out billions of dollars because it kicked people out. Yeah. Let's see. Incompatible. Race-based policies are incompatible with people of all races being treated the same. Very true. Yeah, you can't have it based on race and then have people want it to be the same. Yeah. Geez, Tom, if you can't handle moths, why turn on the flame? Pretty good. I like the nice turn of phrase there. Hospital diversity hiring policy is incompatible with patients' confidence in surgeons. It could be. If I was at a... But here's the thing with that, though, right? I mean, those kinds of things matter in the important jobs, right? We want to hire the best people in very important jobs. So it's probably more important to hire the best people to be pilots and mechanics, airplane mechanics, than it is perhaps the people that are working at the luggage counter, right? Right. Those have a different level of expertise that you want. Former FBI agents and other government employees obviously are compatible with Moderna for employment. Oh, well, you gotta hire who you know, right? Threads was trending for a couple of hours when it came out, downhill from there. Yeah, I saw that, it dropped 90% or something in the first week. I don't think that it is going to work. I looked at it and, whatever. It's hard to entice anyone with a taco dinner when you're already stuffed with turkey. Okay, sure. But, you can make it go out for tiki drinks or something. I don't know. This is quite likely the last Thanksgiving that my stepdad will be here for, so I'll try to behave. Yeah. And the thing is, you never know. Man, life moves quickly. You never know when it's the last Thanksgiving for someone. Things happen. And I think Thanksgiving is a good day that you can make a positive memory. So, those dogs probably have owners who are vax and boosted, and they are, maybe, perhaps. Regulate me harder, Uncle Sam. Well, that's what some people say. Some people say regulate me harder. It's happened over on the YouTube. Cool kids always like the stream. Thank you, Apothecary John. I'm eating with chopsticks now because the forks and knives are all dirty, way too lazy. Sorry. Well, I was trying to think of things that don't go together. Probably chopsticks and soup, right? Chopsticks and soup wouldn't go together. Chopsticks are cool. Soup is cool. They don't seem to work, though. What's up, Muggsy Spud? Haven't seen you in a while. Glad you could join us today. Healthcare needs to be provided by the government. I think, what I've said about like universal healthcare, I'm not saying that it should be free for everyone, right? Obviously, like let's say you're a millionaire, you probably don't need free healthcare, right? And, if you're making 30 grand and if you had some help with healthcare, that would be good. It doesn't necessarily have to be free, but it has to be at least accessible. That's the thing. It has to be at least accessible. If you can have, just have access and maybe have things on some kind of sliding scale for people that are at poverty level. But often what we see is anytime that something is free, it gets abused, right? If something is totally free, it can be totally abused. And so by making, charging something actually might be more beneficial for everybody than making it free. That's my take on it. Yeah. Everybody, thanks. Let's see. Yeah, who knows? The channel might be low-key taking off. I don't know. Like I say, I'm very excited that now they're running ads randomly midstream. I still haven't learned how I can, hit a commercial like after a story. That's I would like to learn how to do that. So still lots to learn, but perhaps now that I've been accepted again by perhaps good things can come at least from that. I'm with you, Tom. Politics in the family should never be a divide, rather a togetherness of our American status of what makes us special. I agree. The key is just be cool, because there's going to be somebody that says something dumb and ignorant. Let it go, right? Roll your eyes. You can ask them if they're sure, and then just drop it. That's my plan. I'll say, it might last 30 minutes, but we'll see. Muggsy, yeah, I know you're in Europe. You're in Berlin, right? I think if I remember correctly. I believe. I don't watch soccer or any sports or anything really, but booktube and political stuff and true crime here on YouTube. I got a real issue with the true crime industry. The true crime industry, in my opinion, this is one of those things that you have to look at incentives, right? A podcast is not going to be popular if it's like, ooh, this guy killed somebody, he was really guilty, and now he's in prison. Nobody's going to listen to that. What's enticing is, oh, maybe he didn't do it. And the incentive then for the podcaster that's talking about true crime is to look at evidence, cherry pick evidence, to make it controversial, to make it enticing, to make it a mystery, to make it a whodunit. That is the incentive of the true crime podcaster. So you need to be really aware of that. And often I find that true crime podcasts really cherry pick things to make the story more incredible. And often it's not based in reality. But that's my take. I do think they're probably a lot of fun. It's not really my genre of choice, but if you like it, good on that. Good for you on that. Let's see. What do I think that they let it happen on the date in October? Don't know. Don't know. A lot of this stuff eventually comes out, and they call it the fog of war for a reason. I think anything that happens around the fog of war can get confusing, and often we will just side with whatever we think is, that sides with us, or with our own past, or with our own views on the world. So I don't know. It was kind of if you were to pick a day that for that kind of attack, that would be the day to pick it. You pick it on the day where the people have their electricity turned off, they have their phones turned off, they're not checking in with the news, kind of isolating them and making it much harder to alert others that the thing is happening. Again, if you want to look at two things that don't go together, probably turning off all communications and keeping a place safe. Those are two things that clearly don't go well together. They don't go well together. And it's kind of predictable, right? If you, if you're securing a warehouse, right? And, I don't know, these are dumb examples. But if you're securing a warehouse, but you give everybody the holiday off, including the security guards, well, the break-in is probably going to happen on that day, right? So giving your security guards the holiday off probably doesn't go well for securing the property. And yeah, probably having no communications because of a religious belief probably doesn't coincide with having the best safety on that day. So that's my take. Tom, things could be worse. I'm going in for a colonoscopy tomorrow morning. It's a rite of passage for those of us in our mid-40s. Well, it used to be 50, and now they docked it down to 45 for that. I will tell you, it's no big deal. You get knocked out, and they tell you to count down from 10. You get down to about 7, you're out. Next thing you know, it's over. I didn't feel a thing, and so for me, went pretty well. And I did have a couple polyps or whatever they are. that were not good, and they were removed. Now, what I will tell you is that the drink that you have to drink the day before, the solution or whatever that you have to drink, that is really nasty. But, and they didn't tell me this beforehand, so I'm telling you, you can add a little flavor to it. Okay? It's a really disgusting drink. You have to drink 2 different quarts of this before you go in for it. You can just get the little Mio or the little, the little squeeze, the little flavor that you can put in water. You can do that. That's allowed. And it'll make it much more, you'll be much more able to get that disgusting thing down that you have to drink before you go in for your colonoscopy. So there you go. Berlin, yes. I thought it was Berlin. Very cool. There are ethical true crime creators. Oh, yeah. Hashtag not all. I was just talking in generalities. I've seen a number. See, the problem is the more extreme you get, right? Then that tends to be even more popular because it's more fantastical, right? So if you say, if you just have 2 different claims, like, oh, this guy might not have got the best defense, okay, maybe. But if you say, this guy was totally robbed and there was a conspiracy of everybody involved against him and they set him up, well, that's a lot more exciting, right? And so often the incentives of people with these successful podcasts are to make it more fantastic, to make it more great, to exaggerate it greater, because that draws in more interest. That's one of the issues with those kinds of incentives, right? If I were to do a thing, hey, follow my advice. I have a meal plan and an exercise plan for you, and if you follow it, we're going to lose 20 pounds in a year. Okay? That's one pitch. And then somebody else is like, I lost 20 pounds in 10 days. Well, you can imagine who's making the millions of dollars and who's totally ignored, right? So, I don't know. That's just kind of an example for that. John Lorden is a good one. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for throwing out a suggestion for anybody that's looking for an ethical true crime creator. John Lorden is getting some respect here. Well, I'd say not fog of war. Most sophisticated intelligence in the world and Egypt, and said it would happen on that day. Perhaps. I do think that this will, we will be able to find out about a lot of this if you have access to some, if you're not just taking in the news of NBC, you'll probably have access to a lot of these things. But I do think that when something happens, the closer we are to it, the murkier it is. So I just caution you to be open and don't decide right away. Don't. You can decide what you believe, right? That's fine. Just be open that if you get new information, that you're open to changing. That's it. My colonoscopy drink came with a flavor packet. Thank you for the advice, Tom. You had a flavor packet with it. I tell you, I went off on them. I'm not really off. But when I found out that you could add flavor to it, I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me this? Why didn't anybody tell me this? This was so hard to drink. So, I don't know. Perhaps everyone's getting a flavor packet now. And if so, there you go. Yeah. It shouldn't take a whole year to lose 20 pounds. Well, I tell you what, look at the moon. Everybody's different. Everybody's different, and it depends on, like all our bodies work differently, and for many people, it may be very difficult to lose 20 pounds in a year. And for some people, it might be really easy. Just depends on how long it took them to put it on. And there's lots of other things like thyroid, your body temperature, right? Your heart rate. There's lots of issues. Your appetite, your ghrelin level. There's all kinds of different things that affect it. It's not just one thing. Just as a super simple example on why it might be easier for other people or for some people than other people. I've talked about the temperature that you have at your house, and the higher you set the thermometer in the winter, right, the bigger your gas bill is, because it takes a lot of energy to raise the temperature of your house 1 degree. Well, it's the same thing with our bodies, right? We're not all the same temperature. We're not all walking around at 98.6. That's the average temperature, okay? But for example, I walk, I get up, I'm 95.5. I've tracked my temperature for years. My temperature maxes out when I'm exercising at 97.3. So that's like a temperature 1.5 degrees lower than average. And like I say, for when I'm sleeping or whatever, it's like I wake up, I'm 95.5 usually when I'm having my morning coffee. So my body does not burn as many calories as the person that would be exactly like me, the exact same height, the exact same weight, and everything, if their temperature were 1.5 degrees higher. That person's gonna burn a couple hundred more calories per day just from their body heat, just from their internal furnace, if you will. So it means that my body might be more efficient, right? But it is then harder to be in a calorie deficit. So there's lots of issues with weight gain, weight loss. It's not just what you eat, although that's the biggest part of it, but there's lots of factors that go into it. One is your temperature. And I don't know, have you ever thought about that before? Have you ever thought how your own temperature affects how many calories you burn a day? Because it absolutely does, right? Just one more example with that would be your heart rate, right? The more times your heart beats, the more calories you burn, right? So let's just say you're doing nothing and you're sitting around. And maybe you're sitting around and your heart is pumping at 76 beats per minute when you're sitting on the couch. And there's somebody else, exact same size, exact same diet, exact same everything, but they're sitting on the couch and their heart's pumping in the 52 beats per minute. Huge difference. Person with the higher pulse is going to burn more calories than the person with the lower pulse. Now, it could be that it's, they say it is healthier if you have a lower heart rate. A lot of athletes have very low heart rate. I know that when I relax, my heart drops down into the 40s. And they say that that's good for your heart, but burns a lot less calories, right? You burn a lot less calories if your heart's only going 48 times a minute than if it's going 80 times a minute, right? Huge difference in that. So 20 pounds in a year might be a good rate for some people. And for some people, they can probably just stop eating processed foods and lose 20 pounds in 2 months, Just depends. We're all different. But if I was a little defensive on that, perhaps I am. I swear I burn calories chewing. LOL. Yeah, some do. Oh, good to see you, Muggsy. All right, we'll see you next time. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much the show that I have for you today. I hope you have a beautiful day. Tonight, we're doing Midnight Americano. It is going to be live at midnight on the East, 9 p.m. on the West. And I have not decided on anything that I'm going to do, but I'll figure that out after this show, much like we'll all figure things out. Anyway, if you made it this far, hit the like button. I appreciate that. And yeah, we'll see if we can get any traction with this channel. Who knows? Who knows? It's exciting. Stick around. You'll find out. Anyway, hope you all have an awesome day. And if you like, there's going to be a fantastic soccer match on Telemundo. You can even maybe pick up a little Spanish. Anyway, hope you all have an awesome day. See you soon. Peace.